Greetings, oh fellow food lovers. Welcome back. Um, Today's exercise is going to be some Italian beef. And the target for the beef is a good old sloppy Chicago style Italian beef sub and a good old sloppy style buffalo beef on wick. And to start off the process, we need some beef. I've got 2 pounds beef round. It's top round. You can do this with bottom round or top sirloin, but you want a lean cut of meat to do this. And this has been rooming up to room temperature, and it should be pretty good. So we're going to go ahead and just get started. Get our beef out of here. And there's the beef. Simple. For the Au Jus, I've got 6 cups of hot water and 4 bouillon cubes dissolved in it. It's been sitting here on the stove in stasis for a little bit. So those are the prime constituents. I got an oven at 375, just waiting to put this in. So the first step is we've got our seasonings. And this is some garlic powder, onion powder, oregano, sage, black pepper, and some peppercorns for a little bit of heat. And the best way to start off is we gotta rub a little bit of this into the meat first. And I mean rub. Don't use all of it because you're going to take some of this and put into the Au Jus, but you want to get this rubbed into the meat really well. Just give it a really good massage. See if you can pick up all this stuff that falls off of it, but you want to get it all the way around. Now this has been trimmed pretty well, so there's not really any fat on this. Bottom rounds tend to have a little bit of fat on them, but that won't hurt anything. And just, you really want to give it a good rub. I mean, just think of somebody with sore muscles that really want to have a good back massage, and you're probably pretty close. So just make sure you get all of it. A little bit more on there. And just give it a really good massage. Your meat will be very happy. Of course, if you want to apply the same technique to your spouse, they might be pretty happy too. So, it looks pretty good. That all nice and rubbed in there. Good massage. So, there's the beef. Get the hands in the wash here. So, we've got the beef. We've got our 375 degree oven. The next step is we have to, because we're going to be cooking the beef over the fluid. And in order to accomplish this, I have one of my favorites. This is a pan grillet. And it was originally designed to stick in the bottom of a pan and turn it into a grill. But it has a lot of other uses too. Not the which of it, it fits right on top of a 10-inch skillet. So you now have a roasting pan. So there you go. You take your meat, whatever orientation you might like, and the secret to this beef is going to be getting it to a rare to slightly medium rare texture on it, because you want to keep the meat rare, because after you get done cooking the meat, it's going to go right into the Au Jus. Oh, one little step I forgot here. Let's put this back here. Get this off of here and dump the rest of your seasonings right in there. This is going to make a fantastic Au Jus, which is important for this kind of a sandwich. There we go. There's our rubbed beef. And The target temperature for this beef is going to be right around 130 to 135. That should get you a nice rear cut. Remember, this is a really tough piece of meat. So I'm going to stick that right in there, just like that. And plug our wonderful little thermometer in here. And let's see, according to this, the meat, let's see if I get this thing has a tough time switching from Fahrenheit to centigrade. There we go. So the meat's at 63 degrees. This is where we're going to start. And I let this warm up to room temperature for a couple hours before I worked on it. And that's it. That's where you start your beef. And we're going to put that right down here. I love this meat thermometer. This thing is great because you just stick it wherever you want to. And that's it. And that's probably going to have to cook for at least an hour. So, get our timer out here. But like I said, your target temperature wants to be somewhere, it has to be at least 130. If it goes up a little bit, that's fine too. But you want to make sure it doesn't go up too much further than that, because you're not going to end up with a nice rear cut of beef. And I'll show you why that's important in part 2. So at any rate, we're going to have great sandwiches tonight. And if you decide to join us for part 2, you'll see what kind of nice sandwiches we're making. Thanks for stopping by. Okay, welcome back to part 2 of making Italian beef. So the beef is out of the oven. The juice that I cooked it over is sitting on the stove in what I call stasis, which is low. And we've got our beef right here. And that should be cooked pretty well. So the next step is slicing it. And for Italian beef, you want it sliced as thin as you can possibly get it. Now, you could use one of these if you're adept and it's really sharp and you want to spend the rest of your afternoon shaving. If you happen to have a Hobart, you set them up mixing or slicing machine. That's good too, but for today's exercise, we're going to use the mandolin. And so it gets a nice, pretty good shave. Get rid of the plastic insert here. And the 7mm attachment, because we want this sliced thin. So we're going to plug our 3/4 of a millimeter in there. And that's ready to go. And here's our beef. So we want to cut across the grain, which for this particular beef is like that. And so we're just going to start. This takes some getting used to, but you should get, oh, the smell is driving me crazy. You just keep going with it. Set that aside. That's about the size of the beef that you want right there, just thin. This came out of the oven about 135, so it's a little more well done than I would want. Well, I haven't hit the center yet. You can just keep shaving it down. looks pretty good on the inside. And just start putting in the au jus. The trick here, of course, is getting the meat put in there without any of your fingers. There's the inside of the beef. So trim that just a hair. Takes a little while to do, but it's well worth the effort. Now, 2 pounds of beef should make about 6 sandwiches when you're all done. And there's 2 different kinds of sandwiches you can make with this that I like. One is the Italian beef hoagie roll, which is kind of a Chicago style thing. If you've ever lived in Chicago, you'll know exactly what those are, and more than likely what they taste like. Italian beef does have some history, or at least cooking this way, in that cheaper cuts of meat were shaved to help make them tender, instead of something with a little more fat in it. Another quick shave here, and then I'll quit boring you with watching me cut meat. You get the idea. I'll tell you what, those electrical doodads sometimes come in handy, but unfortunately, Hobart is a little bit beyond my skills. So at any rate, got some nice beef. That's sitting there in the au jus. Wash my hands here for a second. And that's basically Italian beef. And it's good. I've made this before. It's excellent. And you can use 2 types of rolls here. These are for the Italian ones I'm making tonight. They're sliced Italian subs you get at the grocery store. The other type are Kimmelets, which you can't get at the grocery store, so you kind of have to make them yourself. And they're basically rolls with caraway seed and a salt crust on the top of them. Very popular in Buffalo, and that meat works really well on these. I made these by hand because I can't get them down here in Cincinnati, so you have to make them by yourself. And just load it up. What you're looking for is 4 to 6 ounces of meat on the bun. For the Italian sub, I'd recommend some sliced peppers and onions just kind of sauteed for a little bit, and serve your sandwich up. Um, this also is really good if you put a dab of horseradish on it too. So, but that's it, and you can freeze it. You can do all kinds of things with it. It keeps well in the refrigerator, and it's extremely tasty. Now you want to make sure you get enough au jus on the sandwich to make it a little sloppy, or if you would prefer, you can, uh, how shall we say, just dry it off a little bit and serve it up with a little bit of au jus on the side. If you're going to serve it buffalo style on a Kimmelwick, you have to have some buffalo wings on the side, celery on the side, and a little dab of blue cheese dressing, because that makes it uniquely buffalo. But that's it for today. So we'll see you next time I come up with some kind of concoction I think you might want to watch. Have a good one.